Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for my hashtag Team Project Pan 2020 update. This is a pretty exciting one. It's the July update, so it's a recap of my progress throughout June, but also it is the quarterly refresh, which I've been looking forward to for probably a good 6 weeks now. So it's happening. I'm making some big changes. So if you're new here and you're not sure what a project pan is, it's pretty much a project where you target makeup or skincare items that you no longer want in your collection for whatever reason, whether they're getting old, you just don't love them anymore, you just want them moved on to, I don't know, focus on something better, and you want to use them up before you get rid of them. So that's sort of like the focus of this. It's also really good to sort of like minimize your collection. So if you start targeting one thing at a time, you sort of whittle down your collection to a smaller collection. That's my goal. So that's why I do this, but I also enjoy the process. But this is a year-long rolling project pan. So pretty much I pick an item from most of my different sort of categories that I use, makeup, skincare, whatnot. And when I use something up, I roll something new in. So it keeps the progress happening. But every quarter, what we do is we sort of allow ourselves to refresh the project. So if there's something that we're not using anymore, it's just not the right season, life circumstances have changed, whatever it happens to be, you can actually take products out and roll in or replace them with new products that you will likely use. So you're not just halting on progress, if that makes sense. So there will be some big changes this quarterly refresh, because since my last quarterly refresh, I have had a baby. And I know I've said that numerous times on my channel and I don't want to keep banging on about it, but it does really explain why my makeup preferences have changed, and it also explains why I have been making some progress this month, but the progress has halted a little bit. So I sort of want to incorporate products that I think I will get more use out of and get rid of products that I just can't see myself using in the next few months. I'm also wearing the products today, and I thought I'd demonstrate sort of how I would wear my makeup if I am going out to see family, if I'm going to medical appointments, if I'm seeing my mother's group or whatever it happens to be. If I'm going out and about, this is sort of the maximum makeup I will wear. This is actually probably a bit more than I normally would wear, because I probably wouldn't wear a lipstick, but I'm pushing it today, guys. I'm pushing it for the video. So that's why I'm wearing this look today, which is not really typical of what I film in, but it is typical of what I sort of wear on a daily basis as my sort of like mum makeup. The only time I wear a really full face, like bold full face of makeup, is when I'm filming beauty news. But the rest of the time, this is sort of the maximum that I'll be wearing. All right, so the structure of this video, there's a lot of products to get through. So I'm going to start with the products that I have used up and then tell you what products I'm replacing them for. Then I'm going to talk about the products that I've made some decent progress on and just give you an update on how I'm going with that. Then I'm going to talk about the products that I'm actually going to be getting rid of in this project pan. I'm taking out because I'm either not using them enough to see progress, or I just can't see myself really using them much in the next few months. So I think they're worth sort of getting rid of. And then I'll talk about the products that I am replacing those for and any additional things I'm adding in. So that's the structure of this video. That's how we're going to do it. So let's start with the products that I've used up in the last month. All right, so the first product that I've used up in the last month, and this is no surprise because if you saw my last check-in, I was so close to using this up. I just wanted to take the stopper out and really get the rest of it out. It's my concealer from Nabla. So this is the Close Up Stay Full Smooth Concealer in the shade Light Peach. And I just use this up because I mainly use this as foundation. So what I'll do is I'll just take a little bit, put it like under my eyes, around my nose, on my chin, and then sort of blend that out. So because I use this as a foundation, I used up really fast, and this is empty. So I might do a zoom in. I'll do a zoom in. Let's do it. So hopefully you can see there that the sides have been sort of really scraped, and you can see through it. And if I swirl it around, hopefully you can see there's really nothing on the sides. It's just sort of moving the tiny bit of product left, but it's really dry. So because I predicted that this was going to be used up this month, I did introduce a new concealer last month, so I'll give you a weight update on this. So when I introduced that, it was at 13.66 grams, and now it's at 12.92 grams. So I have used a little bit of product. Again, today I've been using this just under my eyes, around my nose, and I just blended it out and I put a powder foundation over the top. So that's how I've sort of been using this. So I still do use it, just not in like large quantities. The next product that I knew I was going to be using up this month was my brow pencil. So this is my Eye of Horus brow pencil. And last time when I introduced this, which was I only introduced this at my June check-in, I had actually been using this for a few weeks leading up to that check-in to see if I wanted to incorporate in my project pan. And when I actually looked at how much was left, there was a tiny amount. So this is completely done now. And I used this up, it was a few weeks ago now. It was probably, 2 weeks into my project pan, I used this up. So this is done. Now I'm actually going to be replacing that product with 2 brow pencils, one to sort of fill in my brows and one to add some dimension. And the reason I'm doing this is simply because right now, since I'm wearing less sort of bold makeup, I'm finding that I need my brows to be a lot more toned down. Otherwise, if I wear sort of bolder brow colors that I usually wear, it looks really, my brows stand out too much on my face. So when I wear like winged liner and a shimmery eyeshadow and more mascara and maybe a bolder lip, having bolder brows really balances out the look. But when I pare down and wear a lot more sort of nude makeup, I need to pare down the brows as well. So what I've been reaching for a lot lately is actually my Benefit Goof Proof brow pencil. Now this is in the shade 2. Normally I'm a shade 3 or 3.5. So this is a lot lighter than what I normally go for, but it is a really good color at the moment because it is sort of a light color, so it looks a little bit more natural. Now I do have quite a lot of this left, so, well, not heaps, but there we go. That's how much I have left. So I'll take a photo of that and we can track the progress. But another reason why I sort of want to use as many brow pencils as possible is because this is not winding back down. Wind down, don't make me break you. Well, it's good that that's going to be being used up anyway, because that brow pencil is actually clearly broken at the bottom because it doesn't wind back down. You've got to push it back down. So good that we're getting rid of this. But another reason I want to use up as many brow pencils as possible in the next couple of months is because in September, I've actually booked in to get my brows tattooed. So I sort of feel like hopefully when I get that done, I'll have brows that are sort of this, maybe not this bold, but quite full compared to my normal brows. So on a daily basis, I won't need to use a brow pencil. I'll probably just use a brow pencil or a brow gel or something when I want them to be a little bit more bold to mimic that bold makeup. But on a daily basis, I sort of want a level of brows that I don't need to fill in. So I sort of want to use up as many brow pencils as possible until then, because I don't want them to go to waste if I'm not going to use them in the future. So I've been holding 2 pencils and I've just explained one. The next one is the Nabla. This is the Brow Divine pencil in Neptune. So this is a micro brow pencil. So I'm also using this today. If I wind this up, this is fairly new. I think I only got this in like December. So it's not super old, but it's got that much product left in it. So again, I'll take a photo of that. But what I like to do with this one is, and luckily this one isn't broken, so it does wind down, is I like to mimic some hairs. So what I've done today is I filled in the bulk of my brow with the light thicker pencil, and then I've just gone in at the front just to do some flicks, just to make it look a little less sort of block brow. So that's how I use these two, and I'm happy to keep using these until I use them up. And yeah, so that's why I've put them in my project pan. That's what I've been reaching for more often these days. Another thing that I predicted that I would use up was my, this is like a tinted lip balm slash moisturizing lipstick. It's the Elizabeth Arden, I think it's the 8-hour sort of sheer tint SPF product, and this is in the shade Honey. So I have used this up. So that's what it looks like. That's completely wound up. And you can see on the screen what it was at last month. And I just like using this when I'm going out. It's a really nice color. It's got SPF 15, so it does help protect the lips, and it feels nice and nourishing. So I did manage to use this up. I didn't wear it around the house because I didn't need to wear a colored product around the house, but it was a really nice thing just to chuck on and feel really comfortable when I'm out and about. So that is done. Now, what I'm actually replacing that with is a product that I don't think I will use as frequently as that, but I thought this is a good time of the year to use this product up. So similar to the light brow pencil that I normally don't use I normally don't use this lipstick because it is too light for me. But right now, because I'm wearing less makeup, I feel like it sort of balances and goes pretty well. Whereas if I had bold brows and bold eyes, this would look a little bit concealer lips and a little bit funny on me. And it still does look a little bit concealer lips, but I feel like in winter and with the minimal makeup, I can sort of get away with it. So this is a Too Faced lipstick, and it's in the shade Strip Search. So this is a really sort of creamy pigmented lipstick. What I've done today is I've actually blotted it down a little bit, and I've put a bit of lip gloss over the top, but it is actually a really pinky, yeah, really creamy but really pigmented nude lipstick. I don't like pinky light nude lipsticks, but in winter and with this pared down makeup, I don't mind it, and the formula is really comfortable. So this is one that's been in my collection for probably a couple of years now. It just doesn't get used. I actually do have one other shade from this range, which is a darker sort of more browny mid-tone nude that I normally gravitate towards, but I thought while it is winter, while it is cold, while I'm not wearing much makeup, and this color does sort of work for me, I thought I'll see how much I can use this. I'm not going to wear this on a daily basis. It's just not going to happen. But when I do go out and about, it's easy to chuck on, and I'm going to see how much use I can get in the next 3 months. But I thought I'd show you how much I have left of it. It's actually the majority of it. So when I do wind it down, you can see that it doesn't actually go down very much in the tube because it's been barely used. So I actually got this in PR ages and ages ago. It's not a shade that I'd normally pick out for myself, which is why it's barely used, but I thought I'll give it a crack and see how much I can use in the next few months. All right, another product that, look, I could have kept this going for a while, but it was getting to a point where it wasn't really performing very well. It was drying out. It is my MAC mascara. So this is just a mascara that I have been using for the last few months, and there's a little bit of product left on it, but again, it just wasn't really giving me the volume that I wanted because it is drying out. So that one I consider done. And I surprisingly don't have too many mascaras open right now. So the one that I thought I would target is by Nabla. This is the Major Pleasure Mascara. I'm wearing this today. I think it's a nice volumizing mascara. The only issue I have with it is I find that if you touch your eyes, it sort of is a little bit flaky, but otherwise it's pretty easy to apply, pretty easy to use, and I just thought I'll use this for the next few months, get as much use out of it as possible, and yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, the next item that I was convinced that I'd use up in the next month or two, and I managed to use it up only earlier this week. It is by Jouer, and it is the Creme Eyeshadow Crayon in the shade Rose Gold. So you can see that that is completely used up. I'll have a comparison on the screen from last month. And essentially how I used this was I would put it all over the lid. I would blend it out. Because it is a pink color, like I might be able to get a little bit out. There, you can see it there. Because it's a pink shiny color, I didn't really like that color on my eyelids just by itself because it sort of looked like, in my opinion, irritated skin. I would apply it, blend it out, and then I'd go in with just another sort of sheer eyeshadow over the top, and that was sort of done. So I sort of use this as an eyeshadow primer and sort of like a base color to a look. So I managed to use that up great. And what I'm going to replace that with is actually 2 eyeshadow sticks. These are from Laura Mercier. They're the Caviar sticks. Now I got these in a Christmas pack. I've got a couple other shades that I really like the colors of, and they're a little bit bolder, so I didn't think I'd introduce them in my project pan. But these shades, one I love and one I don't love so much. So one I'm going to be using as an eyeshadow primer, and one I'm going to be using as just a daily basis look. So that's how I'm planning on doing this. So the one in a Rose Gold, which is a shimmery sort of champagne. So this isn't too shimmery. It's sort of like a satin, and it's very, very pale. Now on me, that sort of color looks like I look really washed out. So I don't like these types of colors on me personally. So that's the one I'm going to be using as an eyeshadow primer. And I do have quite a lot of that left. Again, I've barely used this. I got it in a Christmas pack only last year. And again, it's not a color I use very often. It's also not shiny enough to be an inner corner highlight. I tried to use it as an inner corner highlight today, and it's just like a satin. This is also broken, so let's be careful with that one. Now this one is slightly different. This is the shade Au Naturel, and it's a matte shade. And this one I really like the look of just as an eyeshadow. So the other one I want to use as a primer. under eyeshadows, whereas on days where I just want to use something really quick, this is what I want to reach for. And this is what I currently have on my eyes. So this one's really, really beautiful. Again, I haven't used it too much. I've only sort of brought it out in the last few months. And it's got the same amount of product left, quite a lot of it. But what is great about this color, so it's a matte nude, but it's almost got this sort of taupey, mauvey color to it. It's really flattering on the eye. It sort of gives a little bit of definition to the eye, blanks out the eyelid, and because I do have a patch of like contact dermatitis that looks quite pink and a little bit agitated sometimes, I really need something on a daily basis just to cover that. So I just put this on, blend it out a little bit. It's a really, really beautiful sort of buttery finish. It blends really nicely, nice pigmentation. That little bit of mauve color, that taupey mauve, is really, really flattering in winter. I really like it. So that's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And so I'm going to be introducing this just as a daily eyeshadow. All right, the next item I used up, this is not really a fair one because this had a bit of an accident. So my giant bronzer from Mecca, you can see where the pan was. So the little messy part was where the pan was. So I'll have a photo on the screen where this was at last month. But what ended up happening was it dropped and it broke. And as you can see on the photo on the screen, this did not break cleanly. It was not on a nice sort of clean bench or something that I accidentally dropped it onto. I couldn't gather the pieces and repress it. It was sort of smudged on my office chair and in the carpet. So I ended up just deciding that it's time to go. So this is technically an empty. I've technically finished it, but not by using it up, which is annoying. So when I was looking at bronzers to introduce, so that happened a few weeks ago, and I thought I'll test a few bronzers and decide which one I want to incorporate in my project pan. And I realized I only have like 4 bronzers, which is, a lot of people might be like, that is a lot of bronzer. But for me, I was like, I can't believe I only have 4. And a lot of them are like cult bronzers that I really enjoy. So for example, Hoola bronzer or Too Faced, that sort of chocolate bronzer. So there's some that I really like and I would keep in my collection and repurchase. So I was really surprised that I don't have too many bronzers. The one I decided to incorporate into my project pan is actually by Jouer. So this is a bronzer duo. It's in Sunlight and Suntan. And the reason I decided to incorporate this one is because this shade here is way too light for me in the majority of the year. It's fine in winter, which is what I'm currently in. So I thought this is one that I should introduce now because if I don't start getting use out of it, I'm probably not going to use it for another year. So I mainly want to target this side here because right now on my skin tone, it does add a little bit of bronze. And if I want to deepen it up, I can go with this shade. But the rest of the year, this is almost like a face powder for me. So this is what I'm mainly focusing on. I want to use this up, but I'm sort of including both of them, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm introducing this duo. And you can see that there is, like, I'll take a photo, but there is a Jouer logo on there. I have been using this for the last couple of weeks just to sort of see if I'm happy with the formula and I want to introduce it in my project pan. I am. So it's worn down a little bit, but we'll keep track of how this goes. All right, I have used up a hair care product and a skincare product. And it's not a surprise that my Lush Bucks Fizz body conditioner is something I've used up. So I do have markings there. So when I introduced it was there. Last month it was there, and then I used it up. So smells so nice, very citrusy. That's done. I won't introduce another body product because I still have a body product in my project pan, and instead of incorporating skincare at this point in time, because most of my skincare that I have open is either products that are freshly opened or things that I don't feel the need to use up. So at the end, I'm going to talk about some samples that I'm going to use up because a couple months ago, I cleaned out my bathroom. We got more storage put in and I sort of organized things and I found like stashes of samples that I didn't know I had. And I sort of was stashing them away for when I travel, I'll need this. And then I realized I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, so I may as well use my samples now. So what I probably will do each month is just introduce 5 or 6 samples, try to use them throughout the month and keep rotating through samples. So I'm not introducing anything to replace this except for samples. So the hair care product that I knew was nearly done was my Batiste dry shampoo in the defrizz sort of version. I knew that I only had a few grams left of this, and it only took me a few applications to use it up. And then I decided, I think I've got another 3 or 4 dry shampoos in my cupboard that I sort of found. And the one that I've decided to use up, because it's the one that I like the least, is another Batiste one. This is the dry shampoo in the scent Eden. Now, I don't mind the formula of the Batiste dry shampoo. I think it really does help refresh the roots, but I find that it leaves a big white cast on me, which is why I want sort of the Batiste ones out of my collection. So this one is virtually full. I've used it maybe 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks, but that's what I'm focusing on. So I'll weigh that and we'll keep track of the progress. So I've used up 8 products, which is crazy. One of them broke, but the rest of them I legitimately used up. So let's get on to the products that I've made some decent progress on. All right, let's start with the things that I can easily measure. So we've got the primer from Mecca Cosmetica. I'm still going with this one. This one's taking a lot longer than I expected. So I was originally weighing this, but then I realized last month that I could mark it. So that's where it was at last month, and that's where it's at this month. I do wear this most days. It's sort of like a moisturizer with a bit of a luminosity in it. So even if I'm wearing not much makeup, I can sort of put a little bit of this on like a moisturizer step, or like a second moisturizer step. So I am trying to use this up as much as possible. I want this gone by the end of winter, because once the weather starts to pick up, this is just going to be too sort of moisturizing for my oily skin. So yeah, let's hope that I can get this done in the next month or 2. With my finishing spray, so this is the Shura Skin Perfector. I haven't been making heaps of progress, but there is a little bit of progress. So again, I introduced it up here. That was last month. That's this month, and you can see that it's dual phase. There's a little layer of oil there, so that's why I've marked just above the oil. But yeah, slow and steady, but we're getting somewhere. Another Lush product, this is a body lotion. So this is the Once Upon a Time body lotion. I have marked down there. I've used it I've been targeting it a lot this month because I want this gone. So I introduced it up here. That was last month. That's this month. So if you see, that's right down to the bottom. And I'm hoping I'll use this up by next month. All right, this is not much progress, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. This is the Kristen S Leave-In Conditioner. I do use it whenever I wash my hair, but I use a small amount and I wash my hair like twice a week. So you can see that there's very, very little progress. The purple was where I was at last month. The pink is right below it. It's very slow going. At that rate, it's going to take me like 2 years to use it up. But unless I have a lot more hair, there's not much more I can do. And even though I'm making very small progress on that, I'm not going to take it out because it doesn't bother me that I'm not making much progress. All right, another thing I'm making very slow progress on, but I'm still going to keep it in my project, is my foundation. So this is the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Liquid Foundation, and I was making some good progress on it, but it's sort of slowed down. So where the settle line is where that pink line is now. So I was making a lot better progress the previous months, but again, because I haven't been wearing a full face of makeup or a heavy foundation, this is a really full coverage foundation. So this is sort of only reserved for filming. So yeah, tiny bit of progress, but at least there's still progress. I have still been mixing that with my BB cream. So because this is matte and full coverage, and it's a weird color for me. It looks too peachy. It doesn't really suit me. So I've been mixing it with my BB cream from Missha. So this is the Perfect Cover BB cream in the shade 23. This looks very gray brown on me. So I heard that this is a really good one to neutralize yellow tone skin, because I have neutral skin with pink areas. It looks a little bit dirty on me, but mixed with this, it's a perfect color. So it takes down some of the matte full coverage elements of this, and together they make a foundation that is more of a natural finish, sort of medium coverage, which I like a lot more. So when I am going out somewhere and I want to look a lot more flawless, I'll reach for this. Otherwise, it's sort of just reserved for filming. So I'm going to weigh this so we can see how much I've used. All right, so last month that weighed in at 54.79 grams, and now it's around 51.6 grams. So I have used up just over 3 grams, which again is not heaps, but because I don't use it on a daily basis anymore, it is still some decent progress. So again, since the progress of these have slowed down, there was part of me that was like, should I take these out? But I've decided to keep them in because I still at least use them once a week when I film. And then what I'll also do at the end is introduce 2 new sort of easier to wear foundations for the rest of the time. So I'm actually going to have 4 base products in my project pan, which is a lot, but at least I'm going to be making progress on something every month. All right, one thing that I have been getting some consistent use of, which I'm very happy about, is my blush palette. So even though I don't wear blush every day, I have been seeing a little bit of progress on this guy. So I really do want to use up probably at least half of it by the end of the year, but I've hit pan on 4 and I hit pan on them last month. So it's not as if that's a new thing, but hopefully the pans have been getting bigger and they're like, I realistically want to hit pan on this one soon and use up this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one by the end of the year. The other colors I don't use too much and I don't think that will change. So I still will keep this in my project pan because I can probably force myself to use this one and maybe this corally color. But I don't think I'm going to use up the whole palette by the end of the year because I don't want to wear things that I just don't feel comfortable in or that I feel like makes me look a bit muddy. So yeah, but we'll zoom in and I can show you the progress from last month. All right, I'm gonna start with the bottom half because this is where I've got less progress. So hopefully you can see on the screen, maybe this pan has grown a little bit. And this one, the design has worn down a little bit. There's not much use of these because I don't really use them. But this is a blush that I'm wearing today. And I do wear this highlighter a lot. I'm wearing this one today as well. So yeah, so hopefully there's some progress on that, but it's not too much. I've been using the top half of the palette a lot more. Hopefully you can see that this pan has grown quite a lot and so has this one. So they're the main products that I've been using, and this one has grown slightly. So I do want to make more progress on this in the upcoming months, but what I want to do with this one and maybe this one soon is actually repress them. I'm finding this really difficult to get the product out from the sides. So I'm actually going to break this up, repress it in the center, but I thought I'd show it to you before I do that. But that's how much progress I've made. So after I take progress photos of this palette and I can see what we're at, I do want to repress at least that one, maybe that one and that one, so they're just easier to grab. I'm finding, especially this one, well, this one's almost impossible to pick up product on your brush because you're really only getting the sides, but this one almost feels like it's so firmly pressed that it's hard to pick up the product. Like you really have to sort of scrape your brush into it. So maybe I want to repress this one as well and just press it a little bit looser so it's easier to pick up with a brush. And while I'm there, I may as well repress that one as well into the center of the pan so it's easier to access. So that's what I probably will do after this. And then I'll just work on using those up and making the pan on this one bigger and exposing the pan on this one. That's sort of my goal for this baby. Speaking of repressing, I did actually repress my Wet n Wild eyeshadow. So I might actually zoom in for the next couple so you can see them a bit better. But hopefully on the screen you can see where this was at before when I repressed it, and also what it was like just after I repressed it. So from the time I repressed it, I have used it quite a few times, and you can see I'm sort of hitting pan on it again, which is great, but it has become a lot easier to pick up and use now that it is in the middle. And that's what I want to do with the blushes and highlighters as well, is sort of do that so it's easy to grab. I believe last month with my Illamasqua eyeshadow, I hit pan on it. I'm sure I did that last month. Anyway, the last month check-in will be on the screen, and I've just been using this a lot just to deepen the crease a little bit, to complete a look, and that's the pan now. So hopefully the pan has increased, and I'm actually wearing this on my eyes today with that caviar stick, the matte one, so they work really nicely together. So this is one that I use quite a lot. So hopefully you can see I've got that in the crease and just on the lower lash line just to deepen the look a little bit. You can also see that I've hit pan on my ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the shade Stargirl. So this is the shade that I wear if I want a little bit of glitz. So today I'm wearing an all matte look, but when I want a bit of shimmer, this is a really, really beautiful shade. And last month I think I had a dip, and now I've hit pan, and I just want to increase that pan as much as possible. So I'm making some good progress on these 3 eyeshadows, and I can really see myself in the next 6 months hopefully finishing them up, or at least getting almost to the end of them. So I'm going to keep these in my project pan because I use them and I like them. So when it comes to my other 2 eyeshadows, so this is the Ulta Bronze Babe eyeshadow and the Illamasqua Wolf. So this is a dark brown. I don't think I've made any progress since last month. So I'm going to take this out because I'm just not really using it, and because my makeup has been so minimal lately with the coloring, I just am not going to use it. Same as this bronze one. I think maybe I've used it once. So I'm going to take these out for now, and I'm not actually going to replace them with anything because I do have the 3 eyeshadows still in this, and I've added in the 2 stick sort of cream eyeshadows, so I don't feel the need to replace these. All right, the lip product I've been using the most in the last month is my NARS Afterglow Lip Balm in Orgasm. This is very pink on me, which I don't love, which is why I want to use it up, but I have used quite a lot of it. So I will have a comparison on the screen to make it a little bit easier, but when I introduced this, it was pretty much, I think I only used it a couple of times, whereas now I use it most days. So I am making some good progress on this. So this is staying in the project. I am wearing my Bite French Press lip gloss in the shade Salted Caramel just over the lipstick a little bit. It's a very hydrating lipstick, but I just thought just to sheer it out a little bit, I'd blot it down and put a little bit of lip gloss over the top. So I haven't been wearing lip gloss as much as a lip balm, but I do want to keep this in because it's a really nice thing to chuck in my handbag if I'm out and about and I want a bit of hydration. I really like the color of this. I much prefer it to the NARS one. So the NARS one is quite pink, which I don't like. This is a lot more sort of salted caramel brown, which I do like. So this is more of a going out lip gloss, whereas that is a more stay at home lip gloss, lip balm. And because I haven't gone out much, obviously I haven't used that too much. So it was at 29.61 grams and now it's about 29.4 grams. So very little use on that, but there is still use, which is great. The next product that I need to weigh to see the progress on is my powder. So this is the Innisfree No Sebum Blur powder. I do wear this whenever I'm wearing a foundation that needs setting. So I tend to wear this every other day. So I'm curious to see the results. All right, so that was at 24.01 grams and now it's at 20.35. So I've used like 3.5 grams of that, which is pretty good because it doesn't say this on the packaging, but I looked it up last video that I did a check-in. I think it was about 6 grams of product. So yeah, I'm using it up fast, which is good. All right, the next product is my MAC Fluidline in Past Twilight. This is the eyeliner I use if I want to use a sort of darker eyeliner, like a winged liner. I don't use this too often, maybe like twice a week these days. So progress is starting to get quite slow and it's very hard to see progress in this. I think the pan down the bottom has grown. I might zoom in and show you. I was tempted to take this out, but like the foundation, it's something I don't use every day anymore, but it's something that I still use once or twice a week. So I may as well just keep it in. So I am going to keep this in until next quarter and see if I can see any visible progress. It's really hard to see in this type of product because it's so dark and you can't really see around the sides. And also I can't weigh it because every now and again I do rehydrate it with Duraline. So because I'm adding liquid in it, it messes up the weight. So it's really hard to keep track of, but I do want to keep it in my project. So hopefully the base is starting to grow a little bit. I don't know if you'll see much from last check-in. It's, yeah, very hard to see. Oh, I almost forgot my fragrance. So this is one that, again, I'm not seeing any progress on right now, but I want to keep it in my project. So this is my Britney Spears Midnight Fantasy. I've had it in like since all year pretty much, and I haven't marked it this time around because it sits right under the last mark. So there's really not much progress. I probably use this only a handful of times. And the simple reason is because I don't want to bombard my baby with a lot of fragrance. So I only really use this when I'm going out and baby will be in the pram a lot and whatever. So I only I've only used this a few times. But the reason why I'm not taking it out of my project is because if I am using fragrance, I'm still using this. So I do, by the end of the year, want to use this up. Last year I used up heaps of fragrances, but this year I'm really struggling because this bottle is taking forever, and the addition of having a baby means I'm not wearing fragrance every day. I'm not wearing it today, didn't wear it yesterday, didn't wear it the day before. I probably only wear this like once a week. So yeah, I'm not taking this out because I don't want to replace it with another fragrance, because this particular fragrance isn't the issue. It's the fact that I'm just not wearing perfumes much anymore. So this is staying in, but I'm not marking any progress because there's not much progress. All right, now onto the products that there isn't much progress and I am actually taking out, and I'll explain why. And then what I'll do is I'll let you know what I'm replacing it with. All right, it probably comes to no surprise that I'm taking out my Huda Tan Tour. I mentioned the last couple of months I just have not used this. It is something that I want to, like, I hit pan on it during my project pan, and this is ideally something that I want to use up entirely, but it's the wrong season for it. It's just too dark for me in winter, and also this looks good when I'm wearing a full face of makeup, and I don't wear like full face of makeup anymore. So I haven't used this. I haven't made any progress on this in the last 2 months. So I'm actually going to retire this, take it out of the project, but in summer I might bring it back in. So yeah, it's going for now. Also from Huda, I'm taking out this liquid matte lipstick in the shade Trendsetter. So you can see the progress I've made since I introduced it in this project at the start of the year, but this was actually a mark not from last month, but the month before. So I haven't actually made progress on this in the last 2 months. I think I've used it only once. So I figure this is not something I'm using, so I may as well take it out. And I'm not actually going to replace this with another liquid lipstick because I have the lip balm, the lip gloss, and the bullet lipstick. So I don't feel like I want to use a liquid lipstick up right now. It's just not something I reach for. It's not something I'm happy to use on a daily basis. So this is being taken out of the project. All right, I mentioned that I probably will want to take this out of my project last month check-in, and I did actually make some progress. So you can see on the side that it was at the purple and it's gone down a little bit. Now, the way I tried to use this was I tried to use it on my face before I applied foundation. Didn't really love it. I also mixed it in with my primer. That's how I got most of the progress on it. Didn't really see any benefit to it. So for me, I don't love this as a highlighter because it does lift my foundation and it sits on the skin, on my skin anyway. Doesn't really meld in and look really beautiful. So I can't use this as a standalone highlighter. I don't really like it in my foundation. It makes me look a little bit too greasy, and mixed with my primer or under my foundation, I don't really see much effect and much benefit to it at all. So I'm going to take this out. But like the Tan Tour, I might bring this back in summer, and I might mix it with like body lotion and use it on my legs. But right now I'm wearing pants all the time. It is cold. So this is something that's going to be taken out. Now I will be replacing that with another highlighter, even though I do have the powder highlighters in the palette. I thought this is a good time of the year to introduce a sort of stick highlighter. Now I have been playing with this a little bit over the last week or two to see if it's something that I'm happy to introduce in my project pan, and it is. So this is the Hourglass Vanish Champagne Flash highlighter. Now there's heaps of this. Again, if I twist it down, you can see that I've barely used it. It's just not something that I really reach for on a daily basis, and there's heaps of product left. At least with this, it's going to be good because it's going to be easy to show comparisons like lipsticks and lip balms. We can see how much product is in it. Like there's a lot, but this is actually a really, really beautiful highlighter. And luckily I can use this on top of my foundation and it doesn't lift the foundation if I'm careful. It also gives a really beautiful glowy effect. So it gives me an effect that I really like, unlike the SUVA one where I feel like it looks heavy on the skin. This blends in really nicely. It also blends in really nicely to minimal makeup. I'm not wearing it. I'm actually wearing one of the Tarte highlighters, but this looks really, really lovely when you blend it in. So it just gives you that sheen, which looks like that sort of lit from within glow. And again, if I just want to put it on top of my foundation, I can go like this and just tap it on, and it adds just a really beautiful element without lifting my foundation. So I don't think I'm going to see heaps and heaps of progress on this because there's quite a lot of product and you use it in such a small area. but I thought it's a good time of the year to introduce it because I'm not setting my foundation down as heavily as I do in summer. So this sits a lot nicer on top of my base, but also it's a really nice color for winter as well. It's a nice light champagne color. So yeah, it's actually a really beautiful product, and I've had it in my collection for probably going on, I'm going to say 1.5 to 2 years. So it's something that I should start using up a lot more. Also, there's going to be a product that I may as well talk about it now, a product that I want to add in that this works really well with as well. So I mentioned before that I'm going to be adding in 2 new sort of foundation base products because they're easier to use and they're what I reach for more on a daily basis if I do wear any makeup. So the first one is the YSL. This is a stick foundation. And the reason I want to introduce this is because the shade works really well for me in winter, but it won't work well for me in summer. So it is a nice sort of, it's more of a yellow toned light foundation. I'm not actually wearing this today, but because I do have a bit of redness in my cheeks, it works well at sort of neutralizing it, and it's a really, really good color match. You can see that it actually matches my neck really well. So I like to match my foundation to my body rather than my face. So, and also I'm wearing a bit of blush. So yeah, this actually does work really well as a color match for me. So what I like to do is just put a little bit on, blend it out so it's a really thin layer. It covers some of my redness, and then it's good to go. I don't love the formula of this, which is why I'm focusing on it, and I don't want it in my collection. It sort of can sort of patch up a little bit on me and sit a bit funny, but if I put a small amount on and it's just a quick sort of everyday thing, I don't mind. But the color match is great for winter. So again, I sort of want to use it up in winter before it gets to summer. And I don't think this will sit well on me in summer anyway. So this is something that I want to focus on. It's got that much left of it. So I have used it I've used a bit of it over the last couple of weeks. It's just a really quick thing, easy to apply. Again, if I wind it down, you can see I've used some, not heaps. So yeah, this is not one that I like to wear heavily as like a full coverage foundation because it just doesn't sit very well on my skin. But just as a quick sort of get rid of some redness, maybe cover some under eye, bags or whatever it happens to be, I quite like this as just a really quick product. And stick products go really well with stick products because what I can easily do is just go draw a little bit on, quick, and then grab this one, put a little bit on my high points, and then get a brush and just sort of buff it in. So yeah, they can work really nicely together. The product that I'm actually wearing as my base today, along with a little bit of concealer, is the Bare Minerals Blemish Remedy Powder Foundations. This is in the shade Clearly Porcelain. This is one that I'm gonna have to weigh, and it's just a mineral foundation. So that's what it looks like there, and it's just one that I grab a really sort of dense brush, and over a little bit of concealer, I just buff a little bit in to, once again, take away some of the uneven coloring in my face, and just to look a little bit more put together. So I mainly just put this on my T-zone area, just to look a little bit more put together. So that's one I thought I would target because it's one that if I'm rushing to the shops or I've got someone popping by for a cup of coffee or something, it's one that I'm just happy to quickly put on with a bit of brows and a bit of mascara, and I feel like I'm a little bit more put together and alive. So that's sort of like my quick base. All right, a couple of things that I am taking out just to streamline this project pan a little bit because I've just got so much products that I'm talking about are actually my brow products. So because I added in 2 brow pencils and they're the ones I tend to use at the moment, I'm taking out my brow pomade and my setting gel. So I really like these products, but I'm not seeing great progress on them at the moment, and I just don't really see the point of checking in a lot and being like, I've got minimal progress. So I'm actually taking these out. I'm not getting rid of them. I like them in my collection. I just don't want to keep, giving minor updates on because it's kind of boring. So I don't see the point of keeping these in my project if I'm really not seeing much progress. That's the word. The last thing I'm taking out is one that I only introduced last month, and I wanted to test the waters and see how I went with this, and the answer is not great. So it's a ColourPop lip pencil. This is in the shade Grunge. It is a nice dark sort of nudie brown shade, and I thought maybe in the cooler months this is something I'll wear, and I did wear this all over my lips as like a dark brownie nude color. It did look quite nice. I'm happy to wear it that way. It's just not something I wear on a daily basis. And then what I also tried to do with this was use it to sort of lightly line my lips and fill in my lips and then put lip gloss over the top. And I just didn't like the effect. So this is not something that I'm going to use very regularly. When I have used up lip liners in my project pan, they happen to be lip liners that are almost my lip color, so they add a really nice amount of definition and I can fill in my lips and it gives a sort of nice base to a lip gloss or something. It's a really nice way to add a bit more pigmentation to a lip gloss, but because this is so dark compared to my normal lip tone, I'm just not reaching for it. So I'm going to take this out of my project pan. I am adding in another pencil to replace that, but it's not a lip pencil. So because there's no lip pencils I want to target right now. I do have a bunch of ColourPop nude lip pencils, but they're all fairly new, maybe within the last 6 months or so. I decided to add in an eye pencil. Now I am actually wearing this today just as a really light sort of lash definition pencil, and I'm also wearing it on my waterline. This is by Pixi. It's the Endless Silky Eye Pen in the shade Matte Mulberry, and I just like using this again just to sort of define my lashes and to take away that sort of pinky line on my waterline. I just use it really quickly as a daily basis pencil, along with that caviar stick and the Illamasqua eyeshadow that I'm wearing today. I think this is a really nice color pairing. So as you can see, it's dark enough to give definition, but it's also not as dark as something like a really dark brown or a black that looks quite bold. So I sort of have just blended that on the top lash line and lined my eye with it. And that's one that I'm going to target over the next few months while I'm still wearing this sort of nudie eye combo. I think this is a nice one to go along with that. All right, and the very last things I'm introducing are my samples. So again, I wanted to introduce like half a dozen samples every month, and I'm not going to check in and be like, here's the mark of where the sample was at. I'm just going to tell you, have I used them up, yes or no, because I don't feel the need to sort of give heaps of detail about the samples. I do have this little pot moisturizer. This is the Better Skin Miracle Cream from the Better Skin Co. So this was one I was holding on to. I thought this is a nice amount of product for just, you know, taking away for like a weekend away or something, but because I don't go anywhere, I want to use this one up. I also have this little dropper hair oil sample. So this is by this brand here. It's the Oleo Lusso Luxury Hair Oil. And I just thought that's one that I can, you know, start using, give it a crack. I do have some sachets here. I actually have a whole bunch of these. I got them with a Yes Style order. I've got like 20 of them. So they're little individual sachets of the Secret Key peeling gel. I just decided to target a few of them. So if I use them maybe like once a week, I'll get through hopefully 3, and then I might keep introducing some every month because like I said, I've got like 20 of them. I also have this Dermalogica at-home peel treatments. This is a one-use peel, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really looked into it too much, but massage over the face, allowed to activate for 5 to 7 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try to use this. All right, then I've got a couple of bigger samples. These will take a little bit of time to use up. We have the Clinique Dramatically Different Hydrating Jelly. So this is a 15 ml sample. So this, I might not use this all up in 1 month. I might carry it over to next month, but it's one that I want to target. And I also have the Alabache Eternal Beautifying Eye Cream. This is a 3 ml sample. It's an eye cream. I'm going to try to use it. 3 ml for an eye cream is actually quite a lot. So if I don't like the results of it, I might start using it all over my face so I can use it up. But yeah, if I do like the results, this again will be something that might take a little bit of time to get through, but they're the samples I want to target this month. All right, so that is my update and refresh of my project pan. I feel like we've made a lot of changes. So a lot of products have been used up. A lot of products I'm taking out because I'm just not really using them anymore. And now hopefully my project has products in it that I will still see progress on, even though I'm not wearing a full face every day anymore. It's just something I can't do, and hopefully this is a little bit more manageable. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you do want to see the products mentioned, I will have them listed in the description box, not in order of mention. So if there's a product that you're like, what was the name of the Innisfree powder? just look for Innisfree and it'll be in there, but it's not in, order of mention. It is what it is. If you're doing a project pan, hopefully you're enjoying it and you're seeing some really good progress. If you do want to see more people doing a similar project, click on the hashtag in the title or the description box and it'll take you to other people that use the same hashtag. So that's a way to discover more people or to be discovered if you are currently doing a project pan. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.